Giants preseason game number 2 is over and done with, and they came out victorious 21-19 over the Carolina Panthers. In today's video, I'm going to give you some of my biggest winners and losers for New York coming out of that ball game. Some players really stood out to me. Some other people, they are still on that roster bubble following the game. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. But before we get into today's video, make sure you are subscribed. Sub for Giants Dubs. We're going to continue to put out videos every single day on Big Blue. We'll be live for preseason week 3. We'll also be live for every single game this season. And we are getting closer and closer to 31,000 subs. We're like 50 subs away. Who's going to be the 31st 1,000th subscriber on the channel? Go down and hit that sub button. Let's do a quick recap of the game. The starters played the first drive. Daniel Jones, Darren Waller marched the ball down the field, and I thought he looked really good. Tyrod Taylor was decent. Eric Gray had a nice touchdown run. Daniel Bellinger had a touchdown. I liked what I saw from Isaiah Hodgins. I thought Jordan Riley really stood out on the defensive line for the New York Giants, a 7th-round rookie. There were some players that really impressed me, but the guy that I was most proud of is number 8, the $160 million man, Daniel Jones. He looked good. He looked sharp. The arm looked strong. He came out on that first drive of the game, and he marched the Giants down the field 75 yards, and there was not a single negative play in there. He was 8 of 9 from the pocket, 69 yards, had that touchdown to Daniel Bellinger, and he looked good. The arm looked strong. Looked like he had some extra velocity on the ball. Looked really in control. Looked smooth in the pocket. I liked one play where he had to tuck it and run it, had some pressure in his face, didn't let him phase him, and I thought he looked really good. And you can see the chemistry between Daniel Jones and Darren Waller already forming. I would call Darren Waller also a winner. Shoot, we are winners as Giants fans because we get to watch Darren Waller play football for our team this year. The first 3 plays of the game all went to Darren Waller. He ended up having 4 targets on that first drive. Maybe had a drop, but he got hit really hard, and the ball came out. I thought he had control, hit the ground, ball came out. But overall, Darren Waller, Daniel Jones, they looked really good in the first drive of the game, and I am excited to see them Sunday Night Football, Week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys. I think the biggest loser for the Giants coming out of this game is, at this point, veteran left tackle Matt Peart. He did not look good. Got beat a couple of times, gave up a couple of pressures, had a couple of penalties. He didn't look good, and at this point, I am officially worried about the backups on the offensive line. I didn't think Matt Peart moved his feet well. I don't think he looked good. As a former 3rd-round pick, I believe entering year 4, it's an now or never, and it may be never for him with his career with the Giants. I know you have Tyree Phillips still battling an injury. Corey Cunningham didn't look any better, so maybe you keep him as your swing tackle, but I was not impressed with what I saw by number 74. What I was impressed by, though, was the 33-yard touchdown from the 3rd-round rookie, the speedster, the chunk play creator, Jalin frickin' Hyatt. The speed was on display. Ran a post corner route, ended up in the back of the end zone. Tyrod Taylor floated a little bit, but, man, he had 8, 9, 10 yard separation on a 30, 40-yard route. He looked really good. But the thing that I liked the most about Jalin Hyatt was he had a drop the play before that. Ball was catchable, but it was out in front of him. Should have caught the ball. And he looked frustrated. But you know what? The very next play, dusted off his shoulders, got his mind right, focused up, and had that next play mentality. And after the drop, the next play, he put 6 on the board for the Giants. He's going to be a special player in this league, man. I truly do believe it. You can't coach speed, and it's hard to coach and stop speed on the defensive end. I wish the Giants would stop having him run routes at the line of scrimmage. I don't want to see any more end arounds. I don't want to see many more drag routes where he's draped in coverage. Send the guy down the field and let him put pressure on opposing team secondary. Hyatt looked really good. I thought Hodgins also looked good. Had a couple of catches where he would catch it, get upfield really quick, break a tackle. I was impressed by his receiver corps. I thought Paris Campbell also had a big game. And Bryce Ford-Wheaton, who somewhat struggled, not somewhat, he did struggle in week 1 of the preseason. I thought he looked pretty good as well. So I was proud of those guys. And the offense as a whole, really the starters, They looked really good. I've given you 2 winners who I have so far for the Giants. Who is your biggest winner? I've honestly given you a couple of winners. Waller, Jones, Hyatt, Jordan Riley could have been named a winner. Give me your biggest winner coming out of preseason game number 2 versus the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to stick with losers being some of the backups. I thought on the offensive line, Shane Lemieux, another veteran at this point. He looked terrible. He got blown up play after play. He had a holding. I'm worried. I'm worried about this offensive line. Not the starters, but I don't think he looked good. I was proud of the way Evan Neal played. I thought he looked good. He had one missed block before halftime, but on that Eric Gray touchdown, if you go back and watch the field, he's driving his guy 7 yards down the field. I was a little disappointed there was a 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1 where John Michael Schmitz, Joshua Uzudu, and Ben Bredesen were the interior linemen threesome, if you want to call it that, and they didn't create any push, and the Giants got stuff in the backfield. So I want to see more push out of the interior offensive line, and I think that you saw the lack of depth and the lack of really talent for the Giants on the offensive line showed in the rushing department. 25 rushes for 60 yards? That ain't going to cut it. And if you're thinking that you could just sprinkle in Saquon Barkley into that occasion and shit's going to change, I don't know if that's just the answer. This offensive line's got to be better. Andrew Thomas only played 1 drive. Outside of that, we got an extended look at John Michael Schmitz, Joshua Uzudu, Ben Bredesen, Mark Gawinski, and Evan Neal. The interior needs to be better, though. No doubt about it. The other winner, and another big winner, there's a lot of winners from this game. But I want to talk about Kayvon Thibodeaux, man. He's the guy. I got the jersey on. That's my guy, the 5th overall pick. Wear number 5 for Big Blue. He had 1 sack where he bursted off the line of scrimmage, and you saw him get downhill, get after Bryce Young, and the speed and the athletic ability was on display. If the Giants want to be a serious contender in the NFC this year, they need Kayvon Thibodeaux to be a menace and a guy that just wreaks havoc on quarterbacks next year. Proud of the way he looked. Tom and Fox had a nice sack. Dexter Lawrence had 2 penalties. Jihad Ward had a penalty. A little bit sloppy for the Giants defense overall, but when you look at the stats, they were solid. Allowed less than 250 yards, only 134 through the air, 3.6 yards per carry. They allowed a 7-minute drive early in that second quarter because of penalties, but I was proud of the way the defense played. I liked the lineup of Deonte Banks and Trey Hawkins on the outside at the corner, playing the boundary corner, and then Adoree Jackson in the slot. Xavier McKinney made some really nice plays. I thought Bobby Okereke was all over the field. Micah McFadden as well. And then when Darian Beavers came in, I thought he looked good as well. So a lot of winners on today's show, but we're going to focus on those 3. I want to ask this question. Grade the Giants' performance versus the Carolina Panthers. Get down in the comments section. We're going back to school. Let's ride. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you think. As always, just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for tuning in to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. If you haven't yet, hit that sub button, hit the thumbs up, comment, don't be weird. Help us become one of the biggest Giants channels out there, almost at 31,000 subscribers. And remember, if you want to talk more Giants football, I'm down over on Twitter. Give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_.